On Sunday, the 16th of May, I was invited to be a part of BBC Three Country Radio with Grace Adeniji, and here's a replay for those of you who missed it.
Good morning. Now, for many of us at some point in our lives, we go through a difficult time where we just don't know how to come out of it. But there's always hope and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing inspirational stories from people who overcame a trying time in their lives. I like to call it keeping the faith. Did you know that since we first went into lockdown, over 600,000 babies were born in the UK and have lived their whole lives basically in lockdown? Nash Amber from Watford is a Christian lifestyle influencer. Her daughter was born on the brink of lockdown, but she's been using her platform to encourage other mothers and ladies in similar positions. Nash, good morning. Let's jump straight into it. How has the last year been for you?
Well, good morning. Wow. The last year has been so challenging and so stretching on so many levels. But it's also been really good because I feel like I've learned a lot about myself and what I guess I'm capable of beyond what I even knew.
Yeah. And just to kind of clarify, this was your first child as well, wasn't it?
Yes, my very first, and did not know a lockdown was going to be coming at all.
as nobody did. So just tell me about it. I mean, I think being a mother in itself comes with its challenges. Being a first-time mother, again, has its own challenges. But being a first-time mother in lockdown, what does that feel like? Because you only have to be in it to be able to understand what it means.
100%. I think it's an interesting question because obviously I've never been a mother before, so I have nothing to compare it with. However, I've been around so many babies. I have so many friends that've got children. I've got lots of nieces and nephews and things. So I've had an idea of, when I'm a mum, I'm going to be doing play dates with my friends and going to, like baby centres and exploring the world with my daughter and my husband as well. And I think it was just a reality that I couldn't do any of those things. Now, initially, it felt okay because it was like, I get to just enjoy my baby myself at home in the beginning. But then after a while, when she was now like 6 months, it was summertime because she was born in February. And so now it's summer and I want to go to the park. I want to go to different places. And, certain times we were allowed to just go to the park and that was it. But there was no picnics with other people. So she didn't have that kind of baby interaction. So in the back of my mind, I think as a parent, you are just like, is she going to be okay? Will she be able to like communicate and be okay around other people? Because she literally was with me and her dad 24/7. So yeah, it was really strange. I feel like that's the best word I could use to describe it. Just really strange.
And what about yourself personally? Because it's a massive life change.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the hormones and the emotions that's naturally running through your body? And then I guess the impact of lockdown as well, because it took a toll on many people
it did.
Who hadn't just given birth. But yeah, how did it affect you personally?
Well, I think I definitely had loads of like ups and downs, again, just coming away from all the extra hormones from being pregnant and then having to kind of decipher what is just the pregnancy hormones and what is just myself. I did have times when I found it really challenging to sort of constantly be in the same environment all the time. And, mentally that wasn't a good thing to do. So we started to try to implement more walks and things like that. Other than that, it forced me to have to really be extra creative in how I even just communicate with other people and even just like with my faith, like how I would talk to God more, praying more, listening to music that would uplift me and that would remind me that it's going to be okay, even though it's kind of hard right now and it's different right now and it's foreign, that there is like light at the end of the tunnel. So I felt like mentally I really had to put things in place to help myself remember myself. So, for example, to try and get respite, it was just me and my husband. There was no babysitter able to come around. So we had to then get a rota in place where, I would communicate with him, like, this is how far I feel like I can go. And he would meet me there and we would discuss it in great details. And even, like booking in naps, booking in when I was going to shower, it was that trivial for some things. Like, when am I going to wash my hair? I have natural hair. So I'm like, I'm used to having a wash day. my wash days, non-existent in the beginning. It became like wash random weeks or days. And sometimes I'll detangle one day, wash another day, and then blow dry another day, like over 3 days. And it was just so different and so stretching, but I had to just kind of roll with the punches. But it really was hard, and there were some really difficult low moments in that like process. But to be where I am now, I'm just so grateful for all of the support that I have had, even if it's been like virtually, and just also just like my faith, like I said before, like leaning on God, leaning on Christ, and just knowing that He's right there with me, giving me the strength and the grace that I need for every single day.
Yeah. Now, you're obviously a Christian lifestyle influencer, and you share quite a lot of your journey and your personal story on social media. How did you find that balance? Because obviously, everything's changed. You're going through all of this. How do you sort of balance it out? The content creation, the motherhood. I'm assuming you're on maternity leave at the time, but looking after the household and just dealing with all that 2020 and the early months of this year had to throw at us.
Well, I would have to say lots of communication and a lot of systems, I would say, in place, because I think things, for example, knowing my daughter's into a routine. So I know, okay, she's going to be asleep at 2 p.m. and from 2 p.m. till 4, she's going to be napping. So then it's like, what can I do in that time? So maybe I can squeeze in half an hour to sit down and write a caption that I'm going to post on Instagram, about how my day's been or how my week has been. Or this is the first moment I'm actually just sitting down, just thinking, having a moment just to think sometimes, just to gather my own thoughts. So it's like using those little bite-sized moments that I had and just trying to maximize them as much as possible. But again, the other one, like I said, is communication. Like I've had to lean on my husband and lean on God, I think, so much more than I've had probably my entire life, because I was at a more vulnerable place in my life, and having to juggle everything, like you said. I think I just learned that sometimes when one thing was, something else was suffering naturally. So sometimes it meant getting takeout, or it meant, hubby stepping in to make dinner, or it meant that I would bulk cook on the weekend, knowing that I can just kind of spread it out for the next 2 to 3 days. So it was just trying to find like systems of where I could be organized in a different way to make it work for me. It wasn't like every week was perfect and every week was amazing, no, but every week I learned something new about how I could do something in my world and in my lifestyle to make it work for me.
Now, Nash, I want to just ask, because obviously faith is very important to you, important to your family. How did you manage to cope? Obviously, we've spoken about how it was difficult with raising your daughter with, I guess, no external people being able to come in, give you respite and stuff like that. But how did you cope in terms of your spiritual aspect? There was, churches weren't allowed to operate for a good number of months. I guess house fellowships or whatever you may have attended just wasn't in existence. How did you cultivate your relationship with God during those months?
Well, a really good question again. I would say, again, a lot of, for example, with fellowship, of course, the churches in the beginning couldn't meet physically, but that didn't mean that we can't be doing FaceTime calls. Like we were all the time doing FaceTime, WhatsApp calls, Zoom calls, whatever platform that would allow us to talk for hours on end. We utilized it. And more recently, for example, I've been hosting on my YouTube channel lives every Wednesdays at 8:30. We'll be going live, and we're having like informal fellowships, spontaneous fellowships. We're talking about different topics right on YouTube with other people in the comments. So things like that have kept me going spiritually when it comes to the kind of having the community around me, like the Christian community around me. And because I am like a content creator and influencer, I'm quite comfortable and used to the online world helping me stay connected to people that I want to connect with. So that was good. And in terms of on a personal level, so having my own prayer life, having my own time to read and, maybe study the word and the scriptures some more, that has had to be really ad hoc. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to say like every morning at 6 o'clock I get up. It's not really like that because sometimes my brain is fried in the morning and I'm just like, I can't focus right now. And to the point where I even tried coffee. Me who hates coffee, I tried coffee just to see what is it that causes people to function in the mornings and things. But it's just finding ad hoc time that would work. Like I said, when baby naps, I try to jump in there, or just different little moments I can grab in the evening. Because she's in a good routine, she literally sleeps from 6 to 7 p.m. She be sleeping. So when she's sleeping, I know I've got my whole evening, literally. So evenings have become my time to try and edit a video, to try and fellowship with other people, to, you know, have my own time with God, and then to have time just with me and my husband, and then me and my husband and God. And then again, my schedules, I love schedules. So it's be like, okay, Monday evening is me, hubby and God. Tuesday evening is just me doing my own thing. Wednesday, so it's like we know what day of the week is assigned for something.
That's amazing. Now you, well, as part of this segment, we like to talk about a song that kept you going during that period of time. What song have you chosen this week?
This week I have chosen one of my faves, which is called Promises, and it's by Maverick City. This song for me just echoed, and it gave language to what my heart wanted to say, like what I felt in those moments when it was like, how am I going to make this work? Like, am I going to be okay at the end of this? You know, just the fact that the words talk about, you know, like God being faithful and us putting our trust in Jesus, that really became like my declaration, my prayer. It became like what I wanted to say back to God and what I wanted to remind myself on those days when I was a bit unsure of how things will pan out. It was like listening to that over and over again, singing it to the point where my daughter knows it. When it comes on, she's ready to start lifting her hands and swaying to the music. So it's so cute to see just how much this song has literally become a big thing in our family.
That's amazing. Let's have a listen.
God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant and faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, seasons change, you remain the same. God from age to age, though the earth may pass away, your word remains the same. Yeah, your history can prove there's nothing you can't do. You're faithful and true. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass.
And that's all from me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. Coming up after